So busy. So hello, Nimra. I'm Robin. So I don't know if you know who I am, but I'm the editor of Film Autonomy and I created the festival. As you can see, I'm not a woman, but I do this for you lot to show your films and everything. So hopefully it's going to be lots of fun. Yeah. So I've watched your film, obviously. Bit of a horror family bit of all sorts, really. My first question, I suppose, is like, where does your love of film? Where did it start? Was it as a kid, as you grew up? What inspired you to love film as you were growing up?
So basically it's such a silly story, but
Mhm.
I wanted to be a lawyer and had no interest in film. I'd actually done like a film festival thing once,
Mm.
and this is like way before, and this was in Pakistan as well, so it wasn't even here. And at the time, like I'm South Asian and a woman, and we don't do film, like it's not a thing for us.
Mm.
So I wanted to be a lawyer and just follow that footsteps. But in my last year, I did media in A levels, and that kind of got me started into like everyone was like, "Oh my God, you really know like your films and you really know your TV shows. Like this is great." So I did like this horror film sequence
Mm.
for my A level, like for my A level coursework, and it won like Film of the Year for the school.
Oh wow.
And they were like, and I directed it, and it was a very interesting experience because that got me into BFI Film Academy. And I sent that film. I was like, oh, I really want to do this film academy. Like, I don't know what's happening. I really wanted to put something extracurricular on my personal statement for law. And so they were like, yeah, sure, you can come do it. So while I was doing that, I actually ended up just learning so much about it and learning that this is such a this is something that just comes naturally to me.
Mm.
And because I grew up watching a lot of Bollywood films and a lot of like Hollywood actually, and some like really old like British dramas, like such old British dramas,
Mm.
I was like, oh my God, like this is such a great way to showcase yourself as a person. And yeah, I think that's why I think film is such a great medium, and that's what my films mostly re like the way I want to work in film is a reflection of that, because I want to use my films as a reflection of who I am as a person and my heritage, and also like just as a woman in the film industry because
Mm.
of how hard it is. But yes, that's where my start like love for film started, like literally BFI Film Academy and just doing it. Like that's it. That's really it.
And what about what's happening with the law then? Is that not a thing now, or
No, it's not a thing anymore.
oh my gosh?
I ended up working. So where I was doing my BFI Film Academy, they ended up giving me a job. And so I started working for them, and it's called Mouth That Roars. It's like a media production company that teaches
Okay.
like students from very different backgrounds and neurodiverse kids how to film.
Mm.
And so I started working there as a co-facilitator and helping out. And then I started helping out on the BFI Film Academies. And then I did like these two documentaries with them. It's just kind of like just back-to-back things. And then I was like, oh my God, like maybe I should do the screen skills like application. And I did that, and I ended up working as a TV development assistant
Yeah.
for Sugar Films. It's like a Sky-owned production company at the time. And just got promoted, like started working more as a 3 month thing. I was like, okay, I'll go uni this
Mm.
year. I'll go uni this year. It's fine. I'll just take another gap year, another gap year. That long gap years. Like I ended up going to uni during COVID, actually. Like my first year was during COVID.
Gosh.
Um, so yeah, and then I did film studies at uni at Queen Mary. So law has gone. It's not,
That's
it's
gone.
not,
Yeah. But film ruins your ambitions. No, no, I'm
it
only
really
joking.
does. It really does. I agree with that.
So this film, congratulations anyway on being in the competition selection.
Thank you.
We've had a lot of submissions this year. It's going to be it is definitely the busiest festival. It's our 10th year. Um, my sister is dead then. I mean, tell me a little bit about how that's conceived, how that was conceived, and what were your inspirations behind it?
So My Sister's Dead was actually written when I was at University of Pennsylvania doing a year abroad,
Mhm.
and it was written for a class. And it came from these horror stories that when I was younger, my sisters and I used to tell each other. And I have seven sisters, and we're like lots of us. So like even in the film, like the dynamic between sisters, like is sort of like my dynamic with my sisters.
Mm.
And it was such an important story for me because I was writing and thinking about them constantly because I wasn't with them and I wasn't seeing them. We have a really good relationship. We all get along. And I'm like one of the youngest, so I'm like literally at the seventh number. So like all of them are older than me. So I'm just like, oh my God, it's such a funny, and they would do anything. It was one of the things where when I was re writing the story, I was like, we never see a brown person in a film, like a horror film.
Yeah.
And we never see like brown women just being brown women without their race being discussed, without their like culture being discussed. Like we don't need to do that. They can just be them. And
Mm.
then there's like you can sprinkle some cultural in there, like because that's how it is. Like not everyone needs to talk about it all the time because I feel like it just puts you in a box. That was one of the reasons why the film was really written, and I love a good horror film. I think it's harder to make them, and it made me, I used to be really scared of them. And then
Mm.
one of the reasons why I wanted to make one was to like kind of get rid of my fear. And I was like, oh yeah, I just need to read into the conventions of it. Oh yeah, like this happened and everyone's being stupid and this happens and then this happens and then you just ended up. So yeah, that's how the film came about really. It was just me wanting to really write something different because my
Yeah.
first film was about Islamophobia and
Okay.
kind of just wanted to come out of that and wanted to write something that was a bit more lighthearted, family drama, more like something that was a bit more normal for us rather than
Yeah.
just put everything race related out there. Just because, you're a brown woman, you have to talk about being a brown woman constantly. But yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. And it ends on quite a nice note as well. If you talk about normal, but it kind of the horror element drifts off and it becomes it's a nice sort of touching ending. But I mean, how did you cast this? There's obviously there's three, but the particular lead and the other lady, how did you cast them?
So very interesting process and a very long
Mm.
one.
Mhm.
Turns out we don't have that many brown, Pakistani, South Asian actors in the industry right now who have are
Mm.
in this age group. And so we put out like we call outs like literally on like these websites like UK Film Work, we did like we put them in like group chats. We were like, okay, guys, this is what we're looking for. Like, let's get. And then we were also looking on Mandy, because one of my very important things was I really wanted to pay someone. Like, I wanted to pay my crew and my
Mm.
cast. And because obviously it's like a low budget film, I was like in my head, I was like, okay, need to get someone who is very good, but you have to pay them properly because that's how the industry should work right now.
Yeah.
And then just came across Mandy on Mandy actually,
Mm.
who's the main character, Naya. She's actually been, it's such an interesting, she actually has been in a Bollywood film
Mm.
that I'd watched. And she sent me that, and I was like, "Oh my God, I know! Like I've watched this. This is crazy." And then when I met her, she really understood the grief and everything about the film, and it was such an important part of the film, like the grief of losing someone, and
Yeah.
like almost having that experience always really helps with actors. And then Bushra, the actress who plays Miral, was through a call out, which was
Mm.
great. Yeah, yeah.
Mm. Very good. Um, I mean, the because you mentioned the horror, there's a big element of music and sound,
Yeah.
and you mentioned it's low budget as well. So I suppose that was how did you get the sound effects and the music, and obviously you wanted to make your audience a little bit weary,
Um,
edgy.
yeah, I think obviously like one of the first thing, I don't know if you're a horror fan, but one of the
Mm.
first things about horror films is the music and the sound. Like
Yeah.
before the sound was put on it, it looked so weird. I won't even be on, like, I'll be so honest. I was like, oh my God, this doesn't look. And then my editor was like, give us a minute. We haven't done the sound yet. And I was like, okay, okay, yeah, we haven't done the sound yet. Yeah, that's what I was forgetting. I was like, we haven't done the sound yet. And then we found someone who was our sound designer, and she did an amazing job at the score. So we had someone score, like produce the score for
Oh,
us,
okay.
and my very talented editor, who I would like to sh give a shout out to because he had
Mm.
not much to work with, Bailey, and he basically put together, like he is very good with sound. He actually went to uni for it, like he did editing, and he also is very good with sound in edit. So he gave me like lots of bunch of options for
Yeah.
different areas of film, like, oh, this is the creaking sound that we can hear, like, oh, that sounds really weird. So we were literally just at some point we were just sitting there for 2 hours figuring out what sound a child walking sounds like. And it
Yeah.
was some weird, like, and then obviously because we don't have a lot of budget, we have to find it for free.
Mm.
And so then you look on the websites and stuff, and it's such a long process. But yeah, I mean, I will give all the credit to my editor and my um sound producer. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, even if you go back to The Exorcist, 1973,
Yeah.
and Friedkin used a belt to just twisted a belt to make the sound of her neck.
Yeah.
So it's
Such an
almost
interesting
sound is
thing.
almost like
Yeah, they're like magicians. I don't
yeah,
know how
so
they
you can
do it.
just pick up anything in your house and just try and find. I
Yeah.
think is it Evil Dead?
Hmm.
He used stuck a pencil into an apple to make it sound like someone.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like, yeah, yeah.
so you must have had a lot
Yeah.
of fun creating some of the sounds, although you're
Yeah.
probably quite worried how it might turn out as well. But yeah, and what was the location then? Was that
I'm
someone's house?
so my house. It's
Your
literally
house?
sitting in the room that was filmed in. Um, we had like, so the film was supposed to be set night. This is an independent filmmaker's life.
Yeah,
Finding ways to go around what you have. Like you just have to work with what you have sometimes. And I actually don't live in London, and I live slightly outside. So we had to get all the crew to my house. They stayed overnight. We just worked like crazy hours for 2 days and had to get like these, and the thing is like my actually it worked out pretty well because my house has the stairs. My house has like the rooms that I really wanted. And it was easier for me to block it as well as a director
mm,
myself, and to visualize it more. Because we had a bit of a crew issue. Like we were trying to find like our short list had a bit of an issue, and all of these things were happening at the same time. So it really helped
yeah,
that the location was so convenient for us. And I think I always like, I just did a guest panel and I was telling someone on the guest panel who was asking about filmmaking and stuff. And I think one of my things is that location is always the hardest to find as an
mm,
independent filmmaker because it's expensive. And not everyone has a location manager, not everyone has someone who can scout a location for them. And this is a lot of time, there's a lot of effort, and a lot of good eye to like actually find a good location where everything would look how you imagined it to look.
yeah.
So, yeah, I think it was just one of the more convenient options for me to do it in my house. My next film will not be filmed here. It's
No,
much further away, and it was really hard to get everyone down. But
that's
yeah.
fair enough. Did you ever consider like that the sister would not you'd not see them? Did you ever consider that it'd just be a voice, or you just keep it eerie, or was it always going to be a definite presence at the end of the film?
So I guess one of the things about the sister was at the start, when the way it was written, she was meant to be a sound, like she was just meant to be a voice.
Mm,
And then I just kind of was scared that I didn't want it to look, I wanted the sister to be a personification of Anaya's grief, basically, her guilt. So
yeah,
the sister actually being present there is almost like she's seeing her. Like she's
yeah,
not, the only reason she's seeing her is because this is the moment she feels happy and she feels the most guilty. And so when she feels guilty, she needs that closure from seeing her sister in flesh almost. And
yeah,
like feeling her presence around her. And I feel like when someone passes away in your life and that you're really close to, I think that a lot of people do feel that presence of those people. And I think you just can't see them. And for me, in my head, I was like, what if she can? What if she
yeah.
can see her?
Mm,
And yeah, I think she's just such an important, it was such an important thing for me to show her. And I think the whole, it just what I feel like also like with horror, you can do like so much with just stuff that probably wouldn't happen in real life. I mean, no one would be throwing things at each other. So I think
No,
it's more like a, yeah, that's basically it.
yeah. And just about the scripts then, what's your writing style? Do you prefer to be by yourself, or do you prefer to be surrounded by music? And what's your sort of process of writing a script?
I'm a midnight writer. I love a good like 2 a.m. write with
Mm.
a tea in my hand and just like literally going for it. And I just strict it's such a cliche thing to say, but it literally just struck. It struck and like I was like, okay, I need to write now. And then I will write like 8 pages of a script and then that's
Yeah.
fine, it's done. But when I can't write, I can't write. And that's normally during the day. My creativity doesn't work during the day.
Yes.
And I think it's also like I feel like with writing, it really helps me. One of my very important like one of a very good important thing about my process is genuinely actually sitting with the fellow creative and talking about my script and my
Okay.
story.
Yeah.
And I think talking it out loud makes it sound real to me. So I'm like, okay, this is what happens and then this happens and this happens. And I've always been I'm the youngest in my house, so like I've always been a storyteller. And I love a good, and my sisters don't care when I'm writing. They're like, whatever. So I just sometimes just sit with them and I'm like, what do you think? Like, and then this happens and this happens. They're like, okay, no one cares. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go write that now. Because I care. Let me just sit down and write it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of just like it's such a silly thing, but yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. And so moving forward, then, what are your intentions now? You've got rid of law. Are you going to continue making films? Is horror your thing, or are you going to try something new?
So I am actually trying something new. I'm working on a new project now. It's a suicide awareness short film.
Okay.
And I mean, I touched a little bit on suicide on this one.
Mm.
It's not very like open. Like I feel like if someone understands it, they understand it sort of like it's for the audience to see what happens in the
I
film. But
thought that. Yeah, I thought when she said
yeah,
you abandoned me. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I think it was just more like it was just I think for now that's what I'm working on. I'm a TV person. I'm a very much TV person. So this is like independent filmmaking is just my passion.
Mm.
It's something that I really want to continue doing because I grew up not watching myself on screen, and I realized that if I'm not watching myself, I can write myself into these stories. That's what I'm gonna
Yeah,
do. I will
yeah,
write them if no one's writing for me. So that's basically what my goal is for now. And I think I really want to work for through that. I think just to champion like voices, and which is great. Like I think your film festival, I think that's great that you've done this. Like
mm,
this is an amazing opportunity for so many people, especially for women who come from backgrounds where they can't even think to make films. Like they don't really think it's an
yeah,
option. Their first option is a lawyer or a doctor.
yeah,
But yeah, I think I'm quite lucky. My parents, like my family is quite not very strict with
yeah.
stuff like that. But in
Well,
general, yeah.
well, that's good, isn't it? Yeah. I suppose like my final question is on that then, the sort of the festival and what it's about. I mean, as you've grown up, have you struggled as a woman, not just because of your culture, but as your gender, I suppose? Have you struggled? Do you feel you've achieved, excelled? Any challenges?
Um, so many challenges. I think I I have worked in a production company. I have been on set with other people, and even my own set, I sometimes realize that um, there's not enough women in the industry right now, or at least they want to be, and they're not being like given opportunities. And it's such an important thing for us to do. And I think one of I have three women female mentors who have helped me so much to get to where I am right now. And the only reason I'm in film is because I saw them working. I saw them be there. And then I was like, oh, well, there's a space for me. And they're not from my background. They're not like it's nothing to do with that. It's just genuinely about gender only. And you go into these places and you don't feel like you belong because you're a woman, because sometimes people will talk over you. They will not listen to you because you're a woman. I've had on my set people be like telling me how to direct, even though I have more experience than them, just because they will mansplain the directing to me. And I will say to you, like, I think our generations wants to and is working towards a bit more diverse and open. sets and like crews and stuff. My next film is going to be female crew fully. And I am very much looking forward to that. I have worked in full female crews and they're amazing. It's so good. It's like everyone's working together. No problems at all. So it's my next goal. Not to say that obviously we shouldn't have anyone else, but just to
No.
say that obviously it's so important for us to. And I think I, as a woman and as a South Asian woman, not just a woman, I think it's so important to me that we get people like us in these spaces and get them recognition, because the only way you'll see yourself is by writing yourself into the stories. That's why I always say. I think
But yeah, it's going to be great. But thank you for being part of it. And
thank you so much for having us. We
no,
all,
it's no
from my
problem.
producers like Lily and Stacey and me, we all would like to say thank you so much for having us on the festival. We really
No, we
appreciate it.
appreciate it, and we look forward to anyone else seeing your film, and you perhaps seeing some other films as well, because there's a lot, 63
Yeah, I would love
short
to watch
films.
them. Yeah,
Yeah,
great. Thank you so much, Robert.
fantastic.